What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning because Bitcoin is having a great morning right now. Some of the alts are having a great morning right now. We're about $35 billion in market cap, feeling pretty good coming out of the weekend. Remember, you might have been listening to these raggedy ass bitches that come out here all the time and tell you, we're going to dump, we're going to dump. You never heard me say that, right? I tell you when I think that the market's going to dump. But over the weekend, we had a bunch of people saying, oh, it's going to be 55 by Monday. Well, they don't know shit because they weren't even close at this point, right? So consider, if you will, if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, the bell to be notified of future content, and start unfollowing all of these raggedy bitches who give you these wild ass numbers that just don't happen. Il Capo of crypto, who the fuck does that? Like, what are we doing here, right? So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to talk about Mark Cuban. He slams the SEC over the weekend and says that crypto voters will be heard in 2024. Does that mean that he's going to go to Team Trump? Which is wild, by the way. He spent a lot of time hating on Donald Trump, and now all of a sudden he's having this epiphany. A lot of people seem to be having that epiphany, as a matter of fact, right now. If you just consider that, you know, there's a lot of people that are trying to bring down cryptocurrency, and there's only one person so far that's electable, that seems to be in support. And this is a binary decision. Every vote for RFK Jr. is a vote against major candidates, which, by the way, that's fine. But if he reaches into one of those pockets, Democrats or Republicans, he's going to cost one of them the election, right? He's pro cryptocurrency also. So in the event that people just can't stomach Donald Trump, they're going to vote for RFK. Democrats want to reject Joe Biden, they're going to vote for RFK. It's going to be a very interesting sort of play out, but he's going to cost somebody an election. And I'm here for it because I don't care. We're going to vote Donald Trump. We're going to vote Donald Trump because Donald Trump is the one that's supporting crypto right now. There's no real alternative, right? A vote for RFK, in my opinion, is a wasted vote because it's not a wasted vote, by the way. If you like RFK Jr., if that's what you want to do, that's your business. You vote for whomever it is that you want. I'm a single issue voter. I'm voting for Donald Trump because he is the one that can actually get the votes, because it's either going to be Republican or Democrat. It's not going to be independent. We're not there as a society yet. Maybe he gets more votes than any other independent in the history, and that would still not even be close to enough to make him electable. So we're still binary until further notice. So you got to vote Democrat, you got to vote Republican, you got to make a choice of swallow one of the poison pills, one or the other. But if you're pro crypto, Donald Trump is the only guy. Also, Pudgy Penguins have now sold 1 million plus units in the last year. You know, of course, they've got a Pudgy Penguins cartoon. They got all kinds of stuff coming out. Hong Kong ETFs are now looking at mainland China. China economy shows major growth according to BRICS. Bitcoin is having that sideways sort of action. Like when I say that it's going down to 55, 57, I don't give a shit. If it goes up to 63, which it did over the weekend instead of 55, like everybody else said, if it does all that, still sideways action. We're still just moving sideways. We're just, you know, rocking the boat, jacking it and jacking it and jacking it and jacking it. Anybody watch South Park this weekend? Because I did. Anyway, Runes protocol slowdown is now official, because we're now seeing the BRC-20 Runes tokens are now, or ruins as they actually say, have an activity slump because Bitcoin is trading sideways. So people don't want it. People in Bitcoin don't want it. This is degen play, stuff like that. So on chain, it looks like Bitcoin is reaching historic lows. And then finally, Brad Garlinghouse says that the United States government is targeting Tether. Is that true? Is it a lie? I don't know. It's not my problem. You know what I mean? My problem is giving financial advice and being always right. And there's only one of those that I actually do. And that's the one where I'm always right. Let's get into it.
It's your boy Blaze. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. I'm always right.
This is where you say, hey, good morning, Bleaves. This is where I say, hey, good morning, if you good morning. If you don't good morning, then good morning anyway. And I say that because good morning. But what I also say in every episode is you probably need to buy some GME. You probably make sure that you should make sure that you have some GameStop tokens. You should make sure that you have a little something. And guess what? If you didn't, and if you ignored me every single time and you said, I don't know, I think that I'm going to just hold on to Ben, or I'm just going to hold on to whatever bonk or whatever goddamn token that you were holding on to. Well, guess what? GME, GameStop is now up 1,574% right now, which means that this was a 15x for you if you bought it anywhere up to Friday. Anywhere up to Friday, this would have been a 15x for you right now. So you're looking for the you're looking for the 15x's, you're looking for the big plays, you're looking for the big moves, but you're not investing in them when I tell you that at some point GameStop is going to absolutely explode. GameStop is going to absolutely blow up. And I kept warning, and I kept warning, and I kept warning, and I kept warning, and and there you are. They're about to hit their all-time high. And I told you guys when it came down here that this is your buy zone. This is your buy opportunity. And I repeated it. And I told you guys over and over and over again that this was going to be one of those big ones because it's GameStop. It's going to have a big run. And guess what happened? The short squeeze on GameStop is on in the normal and broader market. So what does that mean? That means everything is starting to rip. GameStop is starting to rip right now. But the good part about this could be that that's going to cause a cascade into other Solana projects. While we're on it, Bro token just broke out, and it's not near an all-time high. It came up to its original kind of launch area, but it's up 78% on the day. MVP token is up 53% on the day. MAGA token, another one that I told you, Jesus Christ, you've got to make sure that you have some MAGA token, right? Well, it's up 45% on the day after having a nice big weekend. Remember, at $4, I was telling you, buy of a lifetime. Buy of a lifetime. This is the one that you should be holding on to, that this is the one that's going to make that big move. It's going to have this big run, blah, 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 blah. Kept going on about it. Myro, I told you Myro, probably 28 cents coming up pretty soon. Well, guess what? Myro just kind of ranging, right? But its trajectory has slightly changed. What does that look like? Well, we've got this downward sort of momentum, and now we're sweeping back towards that upside. So if this market is set for a breakout, and if Solana is actually ready for a breakout, then Myro is going to go along with it. You know what else is going to go along with it? Dog with Hat. Dog with Hat's going to have a massive breakout pretty soon. As you can see right here, it's already breaking out in these broader markets. As you see right now, Solana had a big move. Myro, big move. Dog with Hat, big ass move. I mean, guys, I hope that you listened. I hope that you hear me when I keep telling you all of this crazy shit. So here we go. Good morning to Hammerside. Good morning, Trail Boss. Jason Pollins in the house. Good morning. Bonehead. We got Blockchain Bonehead in the house. Brian Bootyhead is here. George Lopez Garcia. Vader Prime. Aaron Thompson. Jay Manuel. Remington Perot. Dan Roush. Good morning. Kathleen Blaze. Good morning. Jay Locke. We've got Justin W. John Montoya. We've got Tom Collide in the house. We've got Brian Bootyhead. Willard Morris. Good morning to everybody. Tony P, good morning. Daniel Shabarium, 1224, if you love crypto and your money. Kamal says good morning. Daniel Delgado, good morning. JC, I know what that means. I know that. I read a Bible. I read. I can read. I can, God damn it, I can read. So good morning. Cat Shields is in the house. What is going on? We've got, who am I missing here? Fun Families in the house. What's happening? Real Life Miracle, good morning. Zico is in the house, volting it up right now. Looking for a breakout on Volt at some point too. It looks like Volt kind of hit that. Volt had a nice big run not that long ago, and now it's broken back down to these lows before. They're called the Pablos, if you will. And yeah, so I would think that Volt probably, on the precipice of another breakout. By the way, speaking of breakouts, I guess we should acknowledge this one too. Pepe is having a breakout, probably about to drop that zero, go to another all-time high. By the way, this I think is going to be meme coin week. I think we're going to see, a nice little run on some meme coins right now. Again, Trump having a breakout. It looks like Myro is about to break out. It looks like Dog with Hat is trying to break out right now. As a matter of fact, if you remember the other day, I put $50 into a long on Dog with Hat, and I got it. I want to say like 271, something like that, and it ended up going to like 350, and I took the profit at 350. Well, guess what? I did the same thing. Only I got this one at $2.79, and I'll show you where it is right now. It's up 100. Again, I only did $50. But it's at 115% profit right now, $55. I'm going to hold on to it for a little while. I think that 254 liquidation price, that works for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's probably going to be good enough. Let's just see if this thing breaks out. And if we start to see another big and robust sort of move, like we could see an all-time high on some of these Solana meme coins. The GameStop, the fact that GameStop is breaking out right now means that people are going to be looking at other Solana meme coins. So if you think that, if you're looking for plays right now, those plays were last night and the night before, or on Friday again. So here we are today, and maybe, just maybe, this market starts to break out. So good morning to everybody. We got Morgan in the house who says, do you think the GRT token is a good buy at 28 cents? I think GRT is so I think Graph is probably, I think this is one of the better tokens that you could possibly even get. So let's pull it up here. Now, the problem with it is, how far can it go? And there is a caveat to this. And remember, it's a 2.6 billion market cap. Most of it is already in the circulating supply, but has a $3 billion market cap, right? Well, I get the sense, like, I would think if we go all time and we go to market cap all time. So, just consider back in November of last year, right there, it had a $5.7 billion market cap. So with a $3 trillion market cap, we had a nice little robust run. Then I would assume that Graph is going to go along with it, and it ended up like, I think it's got double what it is right now, but I also think that it's going to continue to grow because this is the data import right now. This is the place where, by the way, if you don't know, the Graph imports all of your crypto data and spits it out into things like TradingView. That's where they get their data from. That's where, and then everybody else kind of funnels their way through the Graph. This is where the data comes from for crypto trading charts and shit like that. In fact, this right here for CoinMarketCap, this whole thing is the Graph right here. This is GRT, not the project. This is the outcome of it, and it doesn't matter how you want to do it. Here's what it looks like with the TradingView chart, but all of this is sponsored by GRT. This is because of GRT that you guys get this information. So Trailboss says, TA Zelda, please. I sold with 9K profit. Stay out or buy back. Are you? Oh my God, $5 tip, man. It should be a $500 tip. Jesus Christ. Let's see where Zelda is right now. Zelda's down 4% on the day. Zelda is wrapped Ethereum, so I would still be looking for a move towards the downside. Let's break it out broadly and see what. Okay, so we're still fighting back. By the way, I think when we had this conversation the last time, it had another little breakout up here, and then it came back down over the weekend through yesterday, back down to 14 cents. It's not done correcting yet. We still haven't tested. We still haven't tested this bottom over here, and I think that that's still due. So I would, it could move up, but let's go. Every one of these does the same thing. So from here to here, now you've got this. This is the way that it's forming right now. Now, what they're going to tell you in Telegram is, well, we've got this flag pattern, and it's going to break out from the flag pattern, and that would be fair enough. But here's the thing: break that flag pattern out all the way down here, and just consider that it needs a little bit of time to test its previous low. and to check the resistance, which is located right there. So if it pops up here, cool, but it's still going to come down here probably to 12 cents, 10 cents, might even come down right into here, which is about 7 or 8 cents. So let's pop this up on the screen and let's zoom in just a bit here so you guys can see this. This is what it looks like right now. Okay. And I think that this area right here, these little wicks that we've got up here on these tops, that those represent where the next move is. So I would be looking for, and if you think that it's going to continue to pump, that's going to be on you. Okay. But I don't think that it breaks out of this trend line, because normally if it breaks out of the trend line, it would still back test it to confirm and then have a breakout from there. But it's too early and there's only 1,000 holders. So the most likely scenario is in the upside move, this, and then back down into this range right here, which is 10 cents. And that's where I would start DCAing, maybe 11 or 12 cents. And it'll still have another big run up to like 15, 20%, could be a 30% rip, but you know, it could still come down into this range before breaking out a little bit later on. And I don't know that it even breaks out a little bit later on. We'll see whether it does or not, but you know, there are certain levels here that I would be watching over the next little while for the breakdown or breakout of Zelda. Also, if there's good news or something like that, if there's something really cool that's happening, then you know, maybe the market says, "Oh shit, let's do it." You know, but I don't see it yet. So there we go. All right, so we got Sativa Cyborg Fry in the house. What is going on, Trailboss? I would wait. By the way, I would wait to see how the market responds. So that would just be my opinion. Anyway, so let's talk right now. Is Mark Cuban going to vote for Donald Trump? So Mark Cuban has been an outward hater of Donald Trump. Billionaire Mark Cuban responded to former 2024 Republican president candidate Donald Trump's courting of crypto in a Friday social media post, claiming that crypto will play a large role in the 2024 election. If Joe Biden loses, there is a good chance you will be able to thank Gary Gensler and the SEC, Cuban wrote on the social media platform. Crypto is a mainstay with younger and independent voters. Cuban added that Security and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler failed to properly protect investors against fraud, saying all he has done is make it nearly impossible for legitimate crypto companies to operate, killing who knows how many businesses and ruining who knows how many entrepreneurs. By the way, we should note that is an attack on American citizens by this administration. Let's not forget that while we're looking at, well, I'm just trying to protect people. Yeah, so the protection, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think what they're trying to do is control people to decide what's good for you or what's not good for you, and that's a very scary thing to do in especially right now when the entire country is on edge. Does that mean that we're going into a civil war? No. Does it mean that there's anything worse that's happening now than has happened before and before and before? No. We've done this over and over again through the storied history of the United States. Are we a failed state? No. Is it going to get better? Yes. Is it going to get worse? I don't know. It might get worse before it gets better, and we should be fair about that. But I mean, realistically speaking, this is nothing more than. And by the way, I just saw some conversation that for everybody who's talking about trans rights and people who are protesting Palestine and things like that, that represents less than 3% of the students going to these schools. Over half of the arrests at the schools for the protesters were people who were not even going to the schools. Then there was a thing where Jerry Seinfeld, I guess, gave a speech at, I don't know, Duke University or something like that, and students walked out. If you zoomed out and you watched what was happening there, a couple of kids left. This was literally the most mockingly joking. The entire group didn't walk out. What this is this look, you're being lied to. You're being lied to by the people who follow Donald Trump. You're being lied to by the people that follow Joe Biden, because your emotions are the internet is predicated by your emotional baggage, if you will, and that's why we have Cuban voting for Trump. Is he going to vote for Trump? Probably not, because he's been he has said over and over again that he thinks Trump is a cancer. Right? Well, guess what? Now he's got a binary choice if he's supporting crypto. So do you see what I'm saying? Like just because you've been something doesn't mean that you aren't going to change your mind. And when you get lied to and deceived, it becomes easy to change your mind. Okay. Now, with that being the case, the question would now be for Mark Cuban, what's he going to do, bro? Matter of fact, you'll never see this, but if you do, come on the channel. Let's talk about it. You tell me why you're going to vote for Donald Trump or why you're not going to vote Donald Trump. I would challenge you to that. Trail Boss, thank you for the $10 bomb. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. By the way, anybody who wants to, the crypto wallets are down below. Send me any crypto that you want because I'm trying to build an army of cryptocurrency. Sativa Cyborg Fry, thank you so much. Trump is going to $1 billion market cap. That is correct. You're about a 2x away from that right now, which means that if you got in when I've been telling you this, then you would already see it. Filled stadiums of supporters for Trump rallies is not a lie. Well, none of those are lies. But the fact that they said it was 80,000, that was a lie. It wasn't even close to 80,000 in New Jersey, but there were a lot of people. But here's the thing. People don't have to go to a rally to like somebody. There's nothing to do with it because a lot of people show up. That's called a concert. That's not called a gigantic amount of support for somebody. I mean, first of all, the guy was a TV show. The guy was a TV star in the beginning. I mean, let's face it. The guy's never met a company that he hasn't bankrupted. It's not like he's a legitimately incredible businessman. He's a great salesman. He's a fantastic salesman. We should acknowledge that this guy understands. And by the way, when you hear some of the things that people do say and you read between the lines of people that know Donald Trump, then you should hear what they're saying. And they're saying that Trump won't do things because that's not what the people want. And he's in tune with his voters. Now, do his voters want good things? Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. And he listens to them and he gives them what they want. So, there's no president who's done that, by the way. There's no president who's done that in a very long time. They have their own policy. They have their own ideas. I mean, let's face it. The most right-wing president that we've had in the last bunch of years, not named Donald Trump, let's just say not named Donald Trump, was Barack Obama. The fact that he was progressive on his social agenda doesn't mean that he wasn't about as right-wing as it gets and conservative as it gets in his policies. Whether you like him or not, because, I know why you don't like him, but just because of that, because he dared to become the president and he created racism. I mean, but he governed as one of the more conservative financial presidents that there were. I mean, he had to raise taxes because we blew a hole in the deficit, courtesy of George W. Bush. But, that's the way that it was. And JC, we're pretending. We're pretending now. Okay, so then Donald Trump put $17 trillion into the deficit. So he's not conservative either. He's liberal. So Donald Trump is a bastion of liberal principles. That's, amazing. It's unbelievable. Because Donald Trump added more money to the deficit than any president in a 4-year period in history. Like that, and that's a factual thing. That is a factual thing. And it's a pretend thing to say, no, he didn't. See, that's why you can't have an argument with a Trump supporter. That's why you can't have an argument, because the facts don't matter, even if they are mathematical facts. Facts don't care about your feelings. And you can like Donald Trump. I'm going to support Donald Trump, but he blew a hole in the deficit. And no matter how many different ways you say, no, he didn't, that's not true. It's true. He did. And by the way, you don't need me for it. You can go look it up. You can go look up the national debt from 2017 to 2021, and you tell me. I don't get my facts from CNN. I don't watch news like that. I don't do that. Jesus Christ. I don't have to. You just, if you don't like it, go look it up for yourself. If you don't believe me, go prove me wrong. No problem. It's okay. I'm not going to cry about it. And I'm not going to do it in caps or anything like that, because it doesn't matter. It's just one person who did blow a hole in the national debt. So there you go. You tell me. So, this is also a warning to Congress, Cuban continued. Crypto voters will be heard this election. You could solve this problem for Biden by passing legislation that defines registration that is specific to the crypto industry, just as other industries have registration that is defined for them. Or you could do the better option and assign all crypto to be regulated by the CFTC. So, Mark Cuban is also an American entrepreneur. In January of 2024, 51% of crypto voters would select Trump as the president, with 41% opting for Biden. However, 46% they would vote for Democrats in the Senate and House, while 42% would choose Republicans in Congress. Now, if you do math and say, words that are numberish, then what you'll notice here is that it doesn't really matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. Some people are still going down the list, still voting for Democrats. And look, if you want to keep something in check, that's what you're going to have Democrats control either the Senate or the House, and then Donald Trump is going to have to do better than he did last time and start to work with people. And the worst part of it all is that Joe Biden has actually worked with Congress to pass some of this legislation that he's gotten through, because some of it is sensible. And even if radicals are arguing about it because, we're going to reduce the price of cheese, and then you have the margarine trailer queen go, what about Ukraine? Well, they don't make cheese, so what are you talking about, stupid? You know what I mean? And what if you look pretty and you jack a dude off at a Democrat, by the way, at a movie, right? I mean, if you're radical and you yell and shit like that, like, you're not accomplishing anything. But the most important part to this is that Donald Trump, in my opinion, is probably going to work with whatever Congress he has this time. A lot of people are telling you, well, he's just going to go back with a list of all of his wrongs, and he's going to go fight everybody. He's going to go, and maybe he will. But I don't think that means that he's going to be fighting everybody in Congress. I don't think that he's going to be having this. And look, he does have vendettas, by the way. He does have vendettas. But I don't think that these vendettas are going to matter very much when it comes overall to governing. He's going to lower taxes, and they're going to help, because it's going to be good for people. He's going to pass crypto legislation, and they're going to help because it's going to be good for people. Perhaps even Liz Warren is going to be out, and John Deaton will take over that seat. Maybe there'll be some kind of squeeze right there, and we get a seismic shift in how this country is running. By the way, if you had Republicans for 2 years in control of everything, it wouldn't be the worst thing. It wouldn't be the worst thing to be able to pass as much legislation and get it through as you could for a 2-year period before you get to 2026, and then some. Yes, because it'll cause people to lower prices, to add jobs, to do shit that we probably need them to do right now. So we need some of that stuff. And you're gonna have to make some budget cuts, by the way, and it's going to come out of social services. And look, if unemployment's at all-time lows and we have businesses that can't hire people, get the fuck up and go to work. Get up and go to work. You know what I mean? Like, if you have to go to work, go to work. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what Mark Cuban does in this next election. Of course, he did support, by the way, Nikki Haley over the primaries, and he was wrong. Way wrong. So, but let's move on. Pudgy Penguins announces 1 million plus units sold in less than a year. So, Pudgy Penguins, one of the top 10 NFT collections by volume traded, has announced that the company has sold over 1 million plush toys through various retailers in a video posted on X. In the video, Luca Netz, the 10th grade dropout and CEO of Pudgy Penguins, who acquired the project the year after its launch, details the latest progress on the sale of Pudgy Penguins plush toys, stating that over 1 million have been sold in just under a year. Netz also teased upcoming partnerships with other retailers, including a reorder from Walmart and orders from Target, Smith's, Hot Topic, and specialty retailers in Asia and across the globe. From a unit basis, that's my biggest consumer product success ever. Netz emphasized the project's success compared to others in the NFT space who may still be struggling with public interest in their project. I have a lot of respect for what other people are doing in the space, but a lot of that is predicated on future moments. This is happening now in real time. The little guy was able to put this stuff in some of the world's biggest retailers. So a great thing for Pudgy Penguins to actually be out here. The enthusiasm around Pudgy Penguins plush line, as well as the announcement of a developing metaverse, led the project to briefly overtake the Bored Ape Yacht Club in floor price earlier this year. The project plans on launching its Pudgy World on the ZK Sync Era blockchain later this year. Pudgy World, by the way, you're starting to see cartoons coming out, which is what this, some of these drawings are part of these cartoons that are coming out as well. So that would be very, very cool to see, and a good move for the NFT communities. Also, Hong Kong crypto ETF approvals had Bitcoin Asia attendees eyeing the mainland. And what does that mean? That means that Bitcoin Asia is now looking at the South China Morning Post is reporting that Hong Kong's warmth towards crypto has some conference attendees looking at the mainland China, where crypto has been banned since 2021. And remember, China has a CBDC coming out very soon for BRICS. So I think that's the announcement, by the way. They have a summit coming in a couple of days, and I think that they're going to announce a digital currency, because they've also got the yuan, I want to say, that they've already launched as a stable coin in China. So I feel like they're going to open up to crypto. This is just the next step. It's no surprise that the conference ended up in Hong Kong. Keen investors have paid a close eye on the city's recent embrace of crypto after hosting Web3 events to its much-hyped approval of Asia's first 6 spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. As a special administrative region of China, Hong Kong has some latitude to set its own policy, though some crypto investors see Hong Kong's ETF's approval as a tacit message of support of crypto from the mainland, according to a report at the conference by the South China Morning Post. In fact, David Bailey, co-founder of Bitcoin Magazine and organizer of the conference, and friend of mine, by the way, I've been on a couple of panels with him recently, reportedly estimated that half of the conference attendees were from mainland China, perhaps hoping to develop further relations between Hong Kong's crypto economy and mainland, which banned crypto in 2021 through crypto activity, although it still persists. I think the ETFs were kind of an admission that Bitcoin is here to stay by the Chinese government. Bailey also applauded the in-kind subscriptions that make it possible to purchase Hong Kong's ETF with Bitcoin and Ethereum, calling the feature very important. While qualified investors from outside Hong Kong are able to purchase the ETFs, mainlanders are still forbidden from purchasing shares. So if that picks up steam and we start to see mainland China get involved, then this could end up being something very, very, very incredible. And then on the same topic, China's economy sees major growth. The China's National Bureau of Statistics released the nation's Q1 GDP that showcased an impressive growth trajectory, with future up more than 5% year over year. Moreover, that significantly outpaced expectations of a 4.6% increase, showing momentum forming for the BRICS leaders and potentially for the bloc collectively. And two new countries are alleged to be coming into the BRICS Union, and they're going to start de-dollarizing, which is the biggest motivating factor here. And by the way, just for some reference here, Argentina was invited, but Argentina decided not to join. Duke Wan, what's going on? China. So Crypto Alliance in the house. What's going on, man? I would be watching for a big announcement coming very soon of some sort of, they're going to lean into some sort of policy in some way that's going to be preferable in some fashion for a CBDC that's controlled by, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. but I assume that it'll be Chinese and it'll have Russian help. So, but I think it's coming. I think that we're going to see that very, very, very soon. Now, next up, Bitcoin is in a bore you to death phase, but the bottom could be close, says one hedge fund analyst. And by the way, it's not the first. Charles Edwards is the crypto hedge fund manager at Capriole Investments. The current period resembles the action from April through September of 2023, when Bitcoin was stuck in the 25 to 30,000 range for an excruciating 6 months. Eventually, cryptocurrencies were able to sustain a multi-month rally, with Bitcoin ultimately hitting an all-time high in March of this year. Bitcoin is in the bore you to death phase, Charles Edwards, founder of crypto hedge fund Capriole Investments, said on X Thursday. This period of consolidation could last for anywhere between 1 to 6 months, during which Bitcoin will be range bound with low volatility until market participants lose patience. The sentiment will be most negative just before the consolidation ends. When you are sufficiently bored with sideways chop, common symptoms will include thinking the halving is already priced in, the bull market is over, and selling to buy stocks at the bottom. And by the way, we're already starting to see people who are talking about that, saying that the bull run is over in their opinion. So when you see these idiots, unfollow them on crypto Twitter, because God damn it, how can you be this dumb? You see the charts, you see whatever. Your symptoms and shorts will peak just before the mega rally. He also said that the bottom might be near, according to sentiment. Traders are showing weak buy the dip interest in Bitcoin's latest retrace. Generally, the crowd's lack of faith is a strong sign of prices being close to a bottom. Traders are showing a weak buy the dip interest in Bitcoin's latest retrace, down to as low as 60,000. Generally, the crowd's lack of faith is a strong sign of prices being close to a bottom. Bitcoin analysts note on a Friday report that Bitcoin's recent weakness happened amid a surging US dollar, with interest rate cut expectations tempered, and said the lull could continue into early summer. We expect the market to remain uncertain over the short term in a low volatility environment until the actual tapering of quantitative tightening takes place in June. The Federal Reserve announced plans to curb the pace of its balance sheet runoff starting next month, which would impact dollar liquidity positively, benefiting risky assets such as cryptocurrencies that are sensitive to the global liquidity environment. So what you're hearing is that the government, the Federal Reserve, is going to start running its balance sheet. And by the way, they're buying bond yields to meet national to help curb national debt exploding. So the greenbacks tumble from a 6-month peak last week following the Fed's meeting, and a weak job report coinciding with Bitcoin rebounding from nearly 56,000 was a turning point in the trend, and a weaker dollar could support the next leg of the crypto rally. We believe sustained strength and a reclaim of range lows on Bitcoin post FOMC and job market data, and the simultaneous weakness in the dollar is a sign of a new regime, which would set us up for a very bullish Q3 and Q4. So be watching for that one. Also, Bitcoin runes. The bottom is certainly in on the runes protocol, because it's also happening at the same time as Bitcoin volatility, which is now way down. So data from blockchain analytics firm Sentiment indicates that Bitcoin's on-chain activity has reached its lowest point since 2019. This decline suggests diminishing interest among traders, contrasting starkly with the earlier excitement. The firm suggested that the slump may mirror market participants' broader sentiment of fear and uncertainty. This sentiment aligns with historical patterns, as transactions decrease often coincide with market volatility periods. Notably, Bitcoin's price has fallen by more than 11% during the past month to 61.205 or 61,205 as of press time. Meanwhile, some market observers point out that the dwindling on-chain activity coincides with the slowdown of Runes protocol after its initial surge. The protocol, launched on the Bitcoin halving day, triggered record transaction fees and volumes for the network. Despite this promising start, recent data suggested a noticeable decline in user engagement and transaction volumes. By the way, if you're not settling transactions and you're using the Bitcoin network to settle transactions that take sometimes 20 minutes to 24 hours, you can't do volume trading. And if you can't do that, then runes don't have a successful path forward. So you got to do something, but we'll see whether or not there's a future for runes. I think that, the Lightning Network obviously is one of the options, and now that Coinbase, by the way, is taking over the Lightning Network and the developers are providing development help, that might lead to a pump or a boon in runes coming very, very soon. So if you have any runes, if you bought any of the runes tokens, then I would be holding on to them for dear life. Only look for the ones that are supported by a good development team. Do your own research, figure those out, and then use those as your kind of litmus test. So according to a blockchain analysis on Look On Chain, some wallets that have been inactive for 11 years just transferred 1,000 Bitcoin to hot wallets. So this is going to be very interesting to see what happens over the next few hours, because there is a possibility that two enormous whales holding 1,000 Bitcoin, I mean, enormous as it were, holding Bitcoin that hasn't been touched in 11 years is now active again. So be watching for, maybe a little bit of market volatility coming up pretty soon. Like we really could be seeing something crazy happen. By the way, if two people sell 120 million in Bitcoin, it gets eaten up pretty much right away. So I'm not really worried too much about it, but you should still be paying attention. Also, Bitcoin trading slows as on-chain activity nears historic lows. So the online transactions has dipped to lines that we haven't seen since 2019. Looks a little something like this right here. This is active addresses. All of this data and all of this volume has suddenly fallen off of a cliff over the last month. So there was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of, there was a lot of trading. There was a lot of people feeling really good. And now all of a sudden people have backed off. By the way, coincided exactly with the halving, right? Everything dropped off a cliff right after the halving event. So, just for clarity here, this is the halving right there, and then boom, everything drops off right there. So why? Because everybody who's an expert, everybody who does high volume, they know what's coming next. They know there's a little sideways volume. They know that we're trading sideways, and then we'll have another move to the upside. So sharp decline in activity followed Bitcoin's all-time high. Milestone that was 1 year ahead of the expected schedule, according to historic cycles. The sharp decline in the transaction volume has not escaped the attention of market analysts. Bitcoin tested 60,000 after a very brief trip up to 63,005. In addition, on platforms like X, traders suggest that institutional players may be manipulating the market to prevent significant breakouts during weekends when the ETF market is closed. Traders and analyst Rec Capital highlighted that Bitcoin usually takes a hit weeks after a halving event, an interval he dubs the danger zone. This phase of price dip, which is coming to an end now, shows a slump in the price of Bitcoin to 56,500, which is why we're talking about 57,000 Bitcoin, why people are talking about, well, it's going to happen, right? Well, let's take a moment here and let's just talk about it. We're going to do this on the day, by the way. So the last time this happened was over here. And when you look at the level of dip that you got in this realm, this, by the way, was 2020. This was 2020. So at the halving, you were trading right here. And then you had this dip right here, which is about 20% correction to the downside. So you're looking at a 20% correction there. Then when you come over here and you look at this correction, which is, people keep telling us, well, this move right now is actually mirroring 2016, and this is what 2016 looked like, and this is the halving. 30% drawdown and a 20% drawdown is what we have. Okay, now for our halving right here, let's actually go look, and you see that right after the halving there was still continuing to be a pump, but right from right here to right here is only 11%. So this market is not nearly as volatile as you might want. Now the other part to this is, let's remember, Bitcoin hit an all-time high. So if we take it from the all-time high and we look at, Jesus Christ, please get your shit together. If we take it from the all-time high over here all the way down here, we've actually had a 24% drawdown, roughly speaking. So could it be that we've already had the dip that, just because of the halving, we got near the halving and that was close enough for the markets to say, well, you know what, here we go. And now we're having that big 23% dip. Like, that's the possibility. What are the chances these wallet transfers are from the same owner? I would say about 100%, because they both got 1,000 Bitcoin at $124 in September of 2013, and they've both been dormant since then. And then today they just went active. So, and by the way, it doesn't mean that they're even going to sell. You know, it might be that they're not even intending to sell, or if they are, they're going to sell a couple Bitcoin to pay themselves back, and they're going to hold on to the rest of it, but they're just moving it to a new wallet just to make sure that, you know, that they're just changing shit up. It could be, you know, you never really know. But this drawdown has already happened, so we might be looking at a market that's really ready for that next move, whatever it is. Now, we got PPI, we got CPI, we got a bunch of different stuff coming in the course of this week. So let's move on here to the final thing, and that is Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse claims that the U.S. government is targeting Tether. According to Garlinghouse, the U.S. potential action against the stablecoin issuer could trigger a significant disruption in the crypto space. U.S. government is going after Tether. That is clear to me. I view Tether as a very important part of the ecosystem. I don't know how to predict the impact it would have on the rest of the ecosystem. This assertion comes amid revealing finds about the exploitation of USDT by terrorist organization and sanctioned countries to evade U.S. financial restriction in April. Adeyemo, the U.S. Treasury Department Secretary, testified before the Senate, highlighting Russia's growing use of alternative payment methods such as Tether to sidestep economic sanctions. We've seen Russia increasingly turning to alternative payment mechanisms, including stablecoin Tether, to try to circumvent our sanctions and continue to finance its war machine. Now, I wonder what the amount is that they're pretending is the problem. Simultaneously, a UN report shed light on the widespread use of cryptocurrencies for money laundering, with USDT on the Tron blockchain emerging as a prominent vehicle, particularly within illicit online gambling platforms. Despite these concerns, Tether emphasizes its adherence to compliance standards and collaboration with law enforcement to combat illicit financial activities. The company has taken proactive measures, including freezing addresses holding substantial amount of tokens involved in unlawful activities. What about the US dollar? Isn't that's what's used even more? And by the way, shout out, somebody's got to say it's fucking hilarious that I use the Tether head on Dr. Evil, and I even put his little finger up above the Tether because I'm hilarious. Jesus Christ, guys, get your shit together. You gotta, when I'm funny, you gotta be like, well, I believe you were fucking funny on this one. Anyway, the company, by the way, had a net profit of $4.52 billion in the first quarter, which they used in order to buy Bitcoin. Yet, despite the controversies, last month the company announced its intention to introduce its stablecoin with Ripple, and Ripple's move into stablecoin isn't about innovation, it's about contributing to the XRPL ledger ecosystem and setting the stage for more robust and diverse crypto landscape. Since the announcement, the company has not provided additional details about the asset. However, CTO David Schwartz hinted that the stablecoin's name could be disclosed in June. So we'll know what the coin or the token is very, very, very soon. So that leads us to, by the way, if you're, and I left this on here because I wanted to say to you guys, Van Eck has a meme coin index. If you are looking for outside investment, I would recommend highly that you do something like the meme coin index, because damn, that is a great opportunity. So, but now we already talked about Bitcoin. We're seeing a nice little, move on Bitcoin right now. There's probably going to be a breakout at some point. We probably still need a little bit of a breakdown in order to, we need some kind of news that acts as a catalyst to propel Bitcoin forward at this point. And by the way, when you look at this, it's really meme coins and just random things that are pumping right now. Again, you've got 13x right now on GME. Bro is up 74%, MVP 63%, Trump 54%. Things with purpose. Things have a reason for what they're doing. Pepe's up 12.5%. By the way, fucking Pork is down 1.6. Polly the Ox screwed so many of you. Just what a dirtbag. Screwed so many people. Floki is at 1880, up 10%. Myro 10.5%. Bonk up 5%. Grok up 5%, Dog with Hat up 4%, Success Kids up 2.7%. However, make sure you hit that like button, please. I appreciate that. Success Kid had a nice little run over here, and then it had took a huge shit on everybody a couple of hours ago, and then boom, got bought back up pretty aggressively. So I think Success Kid might, get into it and have a nice little move. Trademaster, this is Trademaster Ninja High IQ, which, by the way, I think I've got a deal with them. I think I'm going to make a deal with High IQ, and that we'll be using High IQ exclusively on the channel for our trading going forward, and we'll be doing trading content with that. Zella Boba had a nice little dip over here after, I think it pumped pretty good through April 12. It was up, pretty well, and then it's having that little come down again, but it's a pretty dedicated group. AvicPay not moving much at all. DevE down 2% right now. Keeps getting a little pump going, and then getting kind of corrected, sort of range bound right there at about 51 cents. Seems to be the spot where it's rejecting a little bit. However, I do want to point out that you've had this kind of downward trajectory, which seems to be sort of bottoming out, meaning that a move towards that upside could be in the cards. And by the way, if you want to see that, here it is right here. Like it had this move down, and then boom, all of a sudden, and then it takes off, right? And it tests that previous high. We saw that before, by the way. But over the next couple days, I think we're probably going to see the same thing. Will it go that high? I don't think so. I think it goes right here. Unless there's a reason for a breakout, then I would think that 58 cents right around in this range is probably going to be the top, by the way. But at 46 to get a nice 15-20% increase wouldn't be too bad for people. Side of chain is at 0012 right now, still continuing its sort of decline, not nearly where it was before. It had a nice little pump, but it didn't maintain. Xverse is down. It's got a little pump going today, but that's a recovery and a reversal off of what was a pretty dramatic push down for a few hours. Zelda, we already talked about that one. I think Zelda might be pumping a little bit here. No, it's down and it's red in this last hour, continuing that downward momentum. So I might be right. It might end up at 12 cents before there's an entry point. Ben, look, for clarity purpose here, Ben and I are still friends. I haven't talked to him, by the way, in about a week, but not because we're not because we're at odds or anything like that. Just because I'm not partnered, and I don't get I don't get intel or anything from them, so I don't know what's going on. I know that if you go into chat, there's a lot of conversation about you're not going to believe what's happening next and stuff like that. So I'm waiting, just like everybody else, to find out what is going on next. Nobody tells me anything. I talked to Cassie a couple days ago, but it was kind of just in passing. It wasn't for more than a few minutes, so I don't really have anything to add as far as Ben goes and why the price keeps kind of dunking. I mean, I see a lot of selling happening and very little buying. So, and I don't know who that is. I don't know, I don't know what it is or who it is that's moving, that's doing the buying and selling. So, Brett, I keep Brett up here. I think that, guys, if you ever saw, I think Brett is going to have a big pump coming. If you look at it this way, that's going to be the kind of the top right there. We've come down into the range. Every time we get down into this range, it seems like there's a nice little move, right? Well, this would look like that, came down. Well, it's doing that right now. So I got a sense and a feeling here that Brett, wham, is heading, it's probably going to end up having a nice big pump pretty soon, and do this right here again and bang right into this little range. So I get a sense here that that's probably coming very, very, very soon. Trading at 3.6 cents right now. I feel like there's a 5 or a 6x in Brett in a short period of time. So from here to here to here is probably what I see coming. And then the ski mask dog. I told you guys that this was going to have a breakout. It did have a breakout. Now it's coming back down. It's back into the range. The next breakout probably comes up to 2 cents. So from 0.007 to 2 cents might be a nice little pick me up, if you will. Liquidity. So let's hit refresh on this one. 24 hour. We're going to move it to 3-day to cover this one. And that, as you can see right now, we're right in between two different spots. Most likely spot's going to be downward to 62.1, but we could see a wick really kind of spiking up here and sweeping into 63,600. So if you're a heat seeker, then a heat seeker target would be about 63.6, and then another move rapidly coming down to about 60,000 for a full-on attack on crypto. And then on the 24-hour, you got Pith coming down strong. By the way, stay away from Pith for a couple of days. Let me pull this up for you so that you can see token unlocks. All right, so Pith has got a big unlock coming up pretty soon, right here. All right, so Pith, which has a value of 641 million, has an unlock of $1 billion coming. So this is the circulating supply, 1.5 billion. They're going to increase the circulating supply by a shitload. So I would, if you're holding Pith right now, is the time to get the fuck out, because it is not going to go well for Pith holders over the next little while. Will they get excited and will it reverse after that? Probably, but I would wait for that unlock and I would buy that dip. Also, Avalanche has 315 million unlocking pretty soon. So there's a lot of unlocks getting ready to happen. But the important part is I would be looking at Pith to come down a little bit more, and then I would look for a strong bounce when it does that. And by the way, you can go to tokenunlocks.app if you want to see all the data for it. Now, this is and SWI coming down, continuing to come down, by the way. So that's going to probably be a nice little buy pretty soon. Also, Manta, I think, is going to be the next big one. USTC, I don't know why USTC is down here. It's been actually pumping. So I'm not really sure about that one. Mover and Manta right here, I would be looking at as possible buys. So if you're looking for something, that might be it. Now, as far as the ETFs go, as you see right here in the last, this was the 5-day total, right? Boom, boom, boom. Right here's the 5-day total. So you can see in the 5 days, we had inflows, we had outflows the previous 5 days. So with this big 217 million on last Monday being the prime good example, but you can see some of these are not having inflows, and it really comes down, again, always comes down to Grayscale, Bitcoin Trust, and their outflows, mostly because of Genesis or somebody. They're trying to, when you look at it this way, you say, well, it's got 103 million coming out, but then all of a sudden it's got all of this coming back in. Usually it's people moving from one to the other for the lower fees, and then the rest of it is that Dick Muncher, Barry Silbert, who's selling off on people to wreck charge because he's a lowbrow piece of shit, you know, mathematically speaking anyway. So there we go. I think we made it through here. All right, so Myro, a big pump up to the up. We're gonna time to sell Myro, by the way, because it just hit this little rejection point. I don't know if it's gonna pump above that, but when I see it come up into this range, that usually means that it's probably coming back down. If you grant me here that it's been doing this for a few days now, for Myro, you get this pump up into 17, and then you get this dump all the way back down to 14. Pump to 17, dump to 14. And I mean, you see it came down here, pump to 17, dumped, pumped, dumped, pumped. And now it might be moving up. And by the way, if you look at it this way, probably a breakout getting ready to happen. I'm not sure if it comes back down one more time, but I get a feeling that Myro is going to break out probably to this 28 level right there, which is my next target. So, and then Dog with Hat, you know, I bought down here. I got the bottom of this wick, by the way, shout out. And now it's up to 308 right now. Looks like the market might be drawing down just a little bit off of the pump that it just got. So it might be a good time to to take your profit and exit for a spell. We might be coming down, or who knows? The shit could just absolutely reverse and take off. So anyway, that's it, guys, for the day. Now, time to pay the bills. We got a new ad. There are some very exciting plans coming for Cryptonomy VIP users. Make sure that you're signed up to the Cryptonomy Telegram. Follow the Twitter account for rewards and prizes. There's going to be extensive promo programs and giveaways for all Cryptonomy VIP users. Also, we've introduced a unique opportunity for users to evaluate the platform's performance and share your personal experiences. So if you are looking to do that, your comments can be posted on Cryptonomy.finance/reviews. You guys know what I've been saying. You know, I think XRP is about to have a moment. So we're going to make a deposit over here. We're going to do 10,000 XRP right now. We're going to stake that for, we got another 12 months. So we're going to put that in there, 120.7% APY. We're just going to stake this long term. Scheduled amount is going to be 12,075 XRP on the way out. The yields continue. The launch pool, TARS protocol did a 13x. Xverse, remember, did a 4x. Blade Swap did a 5x. These guys are finding really good projects, putting them out there for you. So make sure you sign up